Perfect. So the observant and amongst you will notice that I have a brick in the middle of the floor. And I'm just going to place my ankles at the side of that so that I'm having to work to hold the block up, even though it would hold by itself. I'll take a moment just to relax, soften the shoulders, and begin to press down into the feet, avoiding pressing into the back of the knees. So I still want the muscles to engage and lift a little bit, but without pressing down into the back of the knees and working into those ends of the hamstrings. I want the sort of the full length of the hamstring to work, full length of the quads as well. I'll take a little breath, let myself to sink down to the floor a little bit. I'm just going to move the block up a little bit more. So now that's off the floor. I genuinely am holding onto that with the ankle bones. Inhale the hands forwards and up towards the sky. And try and draw the pelvis down and the ribs as well. Let the shoulders move back. So I want the hands to go over the top of the head. Trying to let the shoulders drop down rather than lift up, even though the hands are lifting up. Avoiding those shoulders hunching up around your ears. So we got the basic movement sorted. Now we'll allow ourselves to come up onto the tiptoes. Keep up on the tiptoes. Continue with those arm movements. So we're going to find something to focus on that doesn't move. Keep the ribs drawn in and down. Do our best to stay on the tippy toes. Almost made it. Last one. Leave the heels back down to the floor. Take the feet about hip distance apart. Bring that hands on top of the collarbones, elbows together. Inhale up. And roll back gently. Now this time we're going to let the ribs flare up towards the sky. We're feeling a little bit of an arch into that middle back area. And the elbows touching low is quite important. It rounds the top of the shoulders. So exaggerate that hunch that perhaps that we live in for long periods of time working at desks. Float the arms out wide, hands above the head, interlace, draw the ribs down and the shoulders down again, and take it into a side bend. So we'll go to the left, press down through the right foot, get the muscles in the right leg to lift, come back into the center, and cross it over to the opposite side. Come back into the center. Go to the first side again. Back to the center. And cross it out. And now the arms to sink down. I'm just going to stand back a little bit to give myself some more room. And allow the left arm to just swing backwards and forwards. And you'll notice that I'm letting the body move as well. So go forwards, my chest goes forwards, back, chest goes back. Now I'm going to do the same with the opposite arm, just taking them halfway. And the shoulders open up a little more. As easy as that. I'll take both arms out. Take a little breath. And take the right arm back, left arm forwards, and then just alternate from side to side. So we're still only going halfway. We've got a good old twist going in through the body. And then we'll see if we can take the hands up all the way to the sky and roll them over. And then we'll take them again and cross them over the opposite way. So we'll just go back to the hearts. And see if we can go the other way around. We're almost there. Got ourselves stepping back down. Coming back onto the mat. Can take a little breath. I'm going to move the block out to the front side and step gently back into my down dog. Have a nice little stretch out through the legs. In the down dog position, I'm going to walk hands towards the feet, forward bend. And as I arrive, bring the hands onto the hips, soften the knees and flat back to lift. I'll take the hands out to the side on the inhale and wiggle the toes back into the center line and bring the hands through the heart. I'm going to come into tree pose, loading into the left leg. I'm going to take the right knee forwards and out to the side. Bring that hand down. Find the heel into the top of that groin. And if I can stabilize myself. And take the arms out again to the side and up. A little bit of a wibbly wobbly today. The balance things. Try and draw the knee towards the back of the mat to open the groins. Allow the arms to come out into a Y shape. Lift the knee a little more, take the toes out to the side. Bring the foot as close to the ground as you can without touching to bring your body back into alignment over your hips. Kite pose. And relax the shoulders again. And moving your feet back down. Shake it all out. Back onto the center line. If like me, you had a little wobble. Hands towards your heart. Pressing down through the right foot. Lifting your lips. Goes out to the side high. Hands onto the ankle into heel to groin. Let the arms come out wide and up towards the sky. Palms together if possible. And turn the arms into the Y shape. Lift the knee, take the foot out to the side, lower it and your body into kite pose. So the idea is that you want to bring your body back over that leg rather than hanging out to the side. But you're trying to hold, in this case, the left leg just that little bit away from the ground. So the big toe might keep bopping down. That's okay. That's how you find your center. That's center point. Last breath in. And we'll bring the feet back in. Moving towards the heart. Take the feet hip distance apart again. Allow yourself to exhale and hinge down to the floor. Walk the fingers towards the front of the mat again. Into down dog. Come forwards into a plank and bring the knees down directly underneath the hips, ready for cat-cow. Drawing the chest forwards, tailbone to the sky, tilt the pelvis, round yourself out towards the feet. And we'll take a couple of rounds of traditional version. And then we'll start to do barrel roll that around a little bit. So we'll just take it over to the sides. Allow the shoulders to move around a little bit, the hips, the head starts to wobble from side to side as well. And then back the opposite way. We'll tuck the toes under again. So the legs out a little bit more. We'll come back into that plank again. And bring the knees down underneath the hips. Lift up the toes of the left leg underneath and slide that back. And we'll take the right hand out in front. We'll lift the left leg slowly. Take a bend to the knee. Keep the ankle flexed a little bit. Make a fist with the front hand. I'm going to draw the knee towards the nose. And the fist comes towards the hip. So just crunching through. Keep the bend in the knee, belly drawn in. Come again. And lengthen out. Again through the center. Just brushing that knee against the floor a little. And last time. Extend the leg out. Hold. And bring the hand and your foot to the floor and bring your knee back down to the ground. Tuck the toes on the other side and lengthen that leg away. Left hand comes out, make a fist. Comes down through the shin to lift your leg and bend your knee. Keep the ankle flexed a little. And on the exhale, brush that through into the crunch, knee to nose, and lengthen back out. Foam crunching in. This time allow the leg to lengthen out fully. Toes to the floor. Direction and spread. Pressing out through the heel. Remember to breathe. Lift it away from the ground. We're not sinking into the shoulder. Keeping the shoulders stable. Last breath in. Hands to the floor, knees to the floor. Take a little breath from there. Allow ourselves to spin the feet out to the side. And take the feet forwards into staff pose. So we're just going to draw the toes back a little bit towards us. Sitting ones down, we're going to have the hands on the thighs. Take a little breath from there. And bring your right heel into your groin, knee to the side. Square the hips. Turn the thigh on the left leg towards the sky and put that bend in the knee. We're going to hands onto the shins. Take a little breath. Allow ourselves to fold down. And slide the fingers out towards the front foot. Take a breath. And lay the body down a little flatter to the knee. Keeping the belly drawn in. A little bit of downward pressure in the bent knee on the right side. And we'll let ourselves lift. We'll take it same to the opposite side. Squared up. Little bend in the knee. Hands on the shins. Hinge over. Slide the hands to the ankle or the sole of the foot. Used to the idea of pressing the bent knee on the left downwards, the shin. Kind of focus on that a little more than anything else. And then we'll let ourselves lift. We'll come back up, take the feet out, and we'll take that again. Bringing the right leg in square, thigh, bent knee, hands onto the shin. This time I'm going to take a little breath, fall down. I'm going to take my right hand to the outside edge of that left foot. I'm going to take my left hand back, and as I lean down, turn my body very gently towards the left side. So I'm taking a little bit more of a twist. Still trying to keep the bent knee on the right. Pressing down a little. We'll take a breath from there, lift our way back up. Lengthen the leg out. Sit up nice and tall. Square ourselves. A little bend in the knee, hands on the shin. Fold forwards. Left hand to the outside, little toe. Right leg. Right hand comes back. Take a breath. And then start to twist your body a little more towards the right side. So you're lifting your right shoulder, dropping the left shoulder down. And then we can release and work our way back up. We'll take a breath from there. Knees high, hands behind, and roll the spine down to the floor. Put the arms out wide, have the feet in close to your body. Now shimmy your hips to the left as far as you can. Now allow the legs to go down to the right. Now squeeze the thighs very lightly together and take your right hand, just place it on top of the left thigh. Try and keep the shoulders on the ground. So don't worry about pulling the legs down. It's more about offering a little bit extra weight. Remember, we're trying to keep the thighs pressing together very lightly. So there's a chance your bottom leg won't be all the way down on the floor, but it'll be close. We'll take a last breath and let ourselves lift up. And we'll shimmy the hips over to the opposite side. And the legs roll down, thighs together on the way, squeeze and squeeze. Let the left hand come in for a little assist. See where we get to. Might be some creaking and popping in your spine as you do this. And squeezing the thighs very lightly together. And bring the legs back up. And shimmy the hips to the left again. Let the legs go down, thighs are together. This time I'm going to flex the feet and send them out to the side. Squeezing the thighs together. And bring the heels back in. Roll high. Shimmy to the right. Legs go left. Legs go down. And we flex the ankles and press out to the side. Legs working together. Toes flex towards us and spread. So strong legs. Hopefully the bottom leg is on the ground in some way being supported. Last breath in. We'll bring the heels back in. Or the knees back up. Back to the center. And extend the right leg to the sky and turn the toes out, coming into a figure forward. Drop the ankle bone to the outside of the thigh. Keeping the foot flexed. Let the right knee travel forwards. Come onto the tippy toes of your left. Draw the knee towards you. On that left side, take your right hand through the center. And left hand around the outside of the left thigh. Once you've got in position, allow yourself to roll your shoulders and head back down to the ground if you're lifted. Guide your shoulders down to the ground. You're feeling the shoulder blades get flatter as your hips open out more. Last breath in, release. Close to heels and bottom. Stretch out through that right leg. Just give it a little wiggle. And bring the foot down and inhale the left leg. Turn the toes on the exhale and bend. Position your knee, flexing the foot up onto the tippy toes. Starts to draw the tummy muscles in for you. Draw the knee in. Left hand through the center. Again, you can take a little lift to wrap around. But then once you've done that, settle yourself down. Work on drawing the shoulder blades down to the feet. So the back feels beautifully flat, long. And you can release from there as well. Stretch out that left leg. Draw both knees in towards your body. Wrap your arms around your shin. As you bring your chin towards your chest into a very rounded ground hug. Rock from side to side. Get that sway going on if that feels good in your body. And then anyway, we're going to roll onto the right side. Hands are pressed down to the floor and lift up. Now we'll spin the feet towards the back of the mat and the body towards the front as we come back onto the floors. Take a little breath in there, tuck toes underneath, and allow ourselves to lift into our down dog. We'll scissor the right leg to the sky. Draw the knee in towards the chest and bring the foot through between the hands with the knee over the ankle. And drop the back heel down. Allow ourselves to lift into warrior twos. Let's take that left arm up to start with. Now we're going to lengthen out into an extended side angle. Bring the forearm and press your forearm into the thigh, and therefore your thigh against your arm. And take the top arm up. Bring hand towards your groin a little bit, so you're still pressing that forearm to work. A little bit of weight into the back leg. And extend the top arm out towards the front of the mat, and then turn the chest down towards the ground. Wimble the arm back, allow the chest to turn to the side. Normally we would keep the spine in one position in this pose, but this evening we're just twisting very gently through, letting the chest towards the ground. So the shoulders more or less become lined up with each other as the chest faces the floor. Now, if you say that you usually do that anyway, well, you're kind of ahead of the game. Okay, we're going to bring the hand down to the floor. Let's get back into our down dog. And scissor the left leg up, and the knee through into the lunge. Drop the back heel. Let's get into our warrior two. And extend out over the front thigh. Forearm down. You see now where the hand is a little bit more towards the groin. We'll take the top arm up and over and roll the chest down. And bring the hand down to the floor. Step back into your down dog. You take a little breath here, bend the knees, and take a step or a jump into the front end of the mat into a forward bend. So if you're going to take the step, you step. If you take the hop, you look towards the front end of the mat. Take a breath in, bend your knees, float as close as you can to the front of the mat into that forward bend. Bring the hands onto the hips and let yourself lift up. Inhale high, hands into the heart, and exhale down to the floor. I'm going to take the left foot to the back of the mat, plant the left hand, take the right hand up into the twist. Bring the hand down to the floor, right hand to the ground, left hand to the twist, and down to the ground onto the fingertips, line the chest to the floor, bring the hands alongside your body, float them out towards the front of the mat, lift into your high crescent as you exhale. Just a little bend into the back knee, take a breath, we drop the knee down towards the ground but without touching, come back up, back down, and up, and down, and up, and down, and up. Hands to the floor. Take a little breath and we step in front of the mat to fold forwards. Hands on the hips and we let ourselves lift up. Hands come high into the heart. And we exhale down to the floor. Take a breath. Right leg back into the lunge. Right hand on the ground. Twist. Left hand lifts. Hand comes to the floor. Take a breath. And the right hand lifts. And down to the floor. On the fingertips, we take a breath. Hands alongside the body. Float the arms out. Use your exhale to lift. Find your balance point, that little bend in the knee to start with. And then on the exhale, the knee goes down. And we lift up. So hopefully, if you do have a little bounce into the floor, it will be minor. Won't cause you any problems to your kneecaps. And talking of knees, you try to keep the front knee over the ankle the whole time. Come down again. And the last time. As you lift up, bring the hands to the floor. Take a little breath and step in to that forward fold. Hands onto the hips. Let ourselves lift. Inhale high. Hands into the heart. And exhale down to the floor. We'll step back into down dog. And we'll sit with the left leg high. Pull the knee in towards the chest. And take the foot to the outside. Allow ourselves to take the left hand to the sky for the twist. Pressing out through the back heel to the straight leg. Pushing down through the hand that's on the floor. So the shoulder is as far away from the ears as possible. Last breath. Hands down to the ground. Whew. And we step back to our dog. And we'll take the right leg high. Knee to chest and foot through the outside of the mat. Take a little breath. Whew. Take the right hand to the sky. Strong press out through the hips. I'm trying to keep the hips square to the ground. So rather than dropping that left hip down to the floor, you're actually trying to lift it a little bit using the pressing out through the back of the heel to help support. Last breath in. Hands down to the ground. And step back into your down dog. Now we come forwards into plank. Knees to the floor into child's pose. Sit gently down. Take a breath. Take it into a side bend to the right. And we'll lift. And take the hands over to the left. Back to the center. You lift halfway. Take the knees as far apart as the mat will allow, toes together. And we're going to take the twist. So we're going to take the left hand underneath and over to the right side, dropping the shoulder and ear down to the floor. And we'll walk the right hand out. Then walk the hand over towards the left. You want to try and keep that arm straight. Your arm pretty much presses into your ear. And trying to rotate your chest up towards the sky. You're going to walk the left hand back towards the center line closer to the head. So when you press down, it mechanically is easier on the shoulders to lift. Take a little breath from that high position. Allow yourself to roll gently over to the opposite side. So as you come down, first of all, you want to make sure your shoulder and ear is on the ground. Then if it is, you can walk the front hand forwards. If that feels comfy. You can take it over towards the right corner this time. Chest round, as if you are trying to turn your chest up towards the ceiling. And so you can keep a fairly long, composed breath. Hands back in to the center line, closer. Allow yourself to lift. We'll take hands forward again. Come back up onto all fours. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. Tuck the toes underneath and move back into a down dog. Stepping or hopping. One single bound towards the front of the mat. We're going to take the hop, bend the knees, get a little spring. Look towards the front of the mat. Keep your eyes focused on that. As you exhale, jump into the front of the mat. Try and let the legs straighten into the forward bend as you arrive. Bring the hands into your hips. Allow yourself to lift. Hands come high as you breathe in towards the heart, and soften the knees over the toes. We'll take the weight into the right leg and slide the left foot back into a lunge. Drop the heel in. Open up into our warrior two. Take a little breath from there and extend out over the front side. Bring the hand down to the floor. Palm up towards the sky. We'll take a little breath and press away from the ground. Come back into your warrior two. Turn the palm on your front hand into reverse warrior. Take a breath back to the back of the mat. Come in to your warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Allow yourself to lengthen out into triangle pose. Soften the front knee. Come back into our warrior twos. Take hands high. Onto the inside of the front leg and down to the floor we go. Walk along to the long side of the mat. Turn the toes in. Right hand on the floor. Or twist the body to the left. Take the hand high. Bring the hand back down to the floor. Left hand on the ground. Turn to the right. Extend the hand up. And back down again. To the left. Rotate the body first. Let the hands float out. So the shoulders and the wrists stay relatively relaxed. As you come down, have the hands about shoulder distance apart. And on the exhale, fold at the hips. And down. Inhale on the way back up. Walk your fingers around towards the front end of the mat. Push off the toes of the back foot into your forward bend. Bring your hands onto your hips, soft knees, and let yourself lift. Hands come high towards your heart. Soften your knees over your toes. Loading to the left. Slide the right foot back. Drop the heel in. Open up into your warrior two. Take a little breath. Extend out over the front thigh. Hand comes down to the floor. We'll take it back. Warrior two. Turn the palm and front hand into reverse warrior. One breath towards the back of the mat. Slowly come back. Warrior two. Straighten the front legs and the hips towards the back of the mat. And then out slowly into your triangle pose. Press evenly down through the feet, front and back. Turn the chest up towards the sky. Soften the front knee. Warrior two. Hands high and down to the floor on the inside. Take a little rest with hands around. Long side toes in. Then we're going to take a breath and turn the palms. The fingers are towards us, palms are to the outside, towards the toes, and then we're going to walk hands underneath, folding at the hips, and taking the hands through to the other side of the mat. Hands through again, shoulder distance apart. Lift up halfway, fold in deep. Lifting up, fingers around to the long side. Take a little breath. Step back into a down dog. Well, let the knees come down to the floor. Send the feet out to the side. There we are. We'll take child's pose first. A little bit ahead of myself. Back down onto the hips. Allow the hands to come underneath your forehead, elbows out wide, so you can get a really nice rest here, just for sort of half a minute or so. We'll set hands forward again. Lift up. Allow ourselves to take the feet towards the front of the mat. Knees are high, hands are high. You want to be towards the front end of the mat with enough room behind you to extend your arms out towards the ground, which will be our starting position. We'll draw the ribs down and the belly and the lower back into the floor, come up onto the tippy toes. Allow yourself to extend your toes up towards the sky. Be directly above your hips. And take a breath. Lift the hands back up over the chest. And alternate the right and left leg down to the floor. Bring them back up. Cross over to the opposite side. We'll bring the legs back up, knees in towards the body. Wrap our arms around the shins again. A little ball. And roll onto the right side. Let's press down. Spin the feet towards the back of the mat and hands towards the front of the mat. Take a little breath. Allow ourselves to lift up into down dog. And come forwards into plank. And then we're just going to simply take the left knee and tap the leg outside of the left elbow. And then do the same to the right and back. So we're staying in plank. Quite often we do this in down dog to plank and then do the move. But today we're doing the lower version, just stepping from one side to the other. Back down with the knees to the floor. And take a little breath and lift the left hand up towards the sky and then thread that through and down into threading the needle. I'm going to extend the front hand forwards again, so it's not dissimilar to the child's pose version. We're going to press the shins into the floor. Walk hands back. Press away. Take the right hand up. Fold that under and through. Walk the top hand out. Press down through the shins a little. Hand back in. Lift from all fours into a plank. Take your left knee to the outside, left elbow, then your right. And cross out. Pressing away from the floor. And knees to the ground. Ooh. Send the feet out to the side. Allow ourselves to take the block this time. Behind the bottom where we'll start. Just wriggle through the sitting bones for a moment. Sitting tall. And we'll bring the right heel into the groin. Coming to Janu Sirsasana, the original version, bending the front knee. Allow ourselves to walk the fingers through, so belly down, then the chest, then the chin. Wrap the hands around the sole of the foot or the ankle. Oops. And release. Let ourselves come back up. And cross over to the opposite side. Square up. Bent knee pressed into the floor. The foot is flexed. A little bend in the knee. Let's start to get space. Hopefully we're nice and flexible and warmed up. Kind of charge through the poses this evening. Nothing super unusual, but it's making me huff and puff. Slide the hands out so you can take the Hands around the sole of the foot. We'll hold on to the ankle. And take both feet forwards. Together, toes up towards the sky, bending the knees, hands on the shins. Long spine, seated forward bend. We'll take the hands around the back of the calves and draw ourselves forwards a little bit with the hands. So not down, just towards the front of the mat. And press the shoulders out nice and wide. See how low you can get. Nice breath in. And we'll let ourselves lift. We're going to take the block out to the side for the moment. We're going to come into bridge pose. So I want to be closer towards the front end of the mat. Use your hands to assist on the way down. Bring the heels then underneath your knees, about hip distance apart. And the spine to roll out and bring your head gently to the floor. Palms facing down. Just wiggle the shoulders under a little. And then we're going to take the block and just put that between the thighs so that we can squeeze just a little bit. On the exhale, we'll start to roll the tailbone towards the sky and lift the hips up. First one doesn't have to be big by any means. And then we'll roll the spine back down. We'll take about 3 or 4 of these very sort of gentle lifts. So we're moving the hips towards that line between knees, hips, and shoulders, being a straight line. I'm just getting used to the idea of the glutes and the thighs and the hamstrings working together. You don't want it to be too big. We'll take one more of those. Okay, so we're going to take that up a little notch. And we're going to see if we can lift up a little higher and then bring the hands underneath the body. We're going to interlace those fingers and press into the back of the arms. So we're going to take a little breath. Allow ourselves to curl and lift up. We'll start to press the hips a little higher and the knees forwards and roll the shoulders underneath. So bring the hands together, interlace, and press them down. So we can start to lift the chest more towards the chin. Press your knees towards the front end of the mat. Press the feet down evenly so both feet feel like they have the same contact pressure all the way around. That's right. Roll the spine gently back down to the floor. And I'm going to take the block and just place that behind the hat, sorry, behind the head. And allow the hands to come out to the side, palms facing up. Just slide the heels out to the cover edges of the mat for Shavasana. The toes hang out to the side. Hopefully your breath is kind of settled down a bit. And the shoulders can relax down to the floor. Noticing that the gap underneath your lower back starts to diminish a little bit as you exhale and settle in. If you need to wriggle the hips or the shoulders around to accommodate a little more space, then do so. Just trust your instincts. If it feels right to move, you'll know. The jaw, eyes just gently shut. Do wriggle his fingers and toes. Make his wrists begin to move. Breathe a little deeper. Follow our instincts. Stretch out in any way that feels good. And slowly draw the heels along the ground towards you. Knees coming towards your body. Find a little hug, a gentle one this time. A final roll onto your right side. Use your hands to press into the floor. Back up. It's that easy sitting posture. Bring your hands in towards our heart. Take a little breath from there. Just close your eyes, let the chin drop. Your belly drawn to your spine. Bow to the floor. And inhale, lifting back up. Letting your eyes open. Namaste. Thank you for joining me this evening. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the mat again soon.